Nigga, this is what that jungle do. You been plotting, nigga, wasn't you? I should've never even fuck with you. Yeah, I started in the back, had to skip the line, no,
I was always given a lot of love and a lot of attention and just, able to dream big. When I dropped out of high school, my mother didn't question it. She was like, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but you're going to figure it out because you're bigger than this. You're bigger than just doing whatever it is that you're doing right now. My name is Burner. I'm the founder, CEO of Cookies. Family was very, entrepreneurial. My mom worked for herself. My father worked for himself, but they worked really hard. We never really had a lot of money, so we just had just enough. We had a good upbringing, and I think I got my work ethic from my father and from my mother. They always worked really hard, and they worked for themselves, and they always told me, when you grow up, work for yourself. You don't want a boss. Cookies was birthed, it was a combination of music, the internet, and cannabis in the medical days. What I pride myself most on is not only that Cookies is a globally recognized brand or an incredible menu that people enjoy, but it's really also a platform too. So the backstory of Cookies is simple. It was like the .com era for weed, and everything just magically happened on its own, organically as hell. So if you go into a cookie store, it's, maybe 30-40% of our product, and the rest is other people's brands. And so when we're driving traffic to stores and we're bringing celebrities to stores and people are hitting me up that are my friends that are, have big reaches and big platforms, and they come in there, they see other brands, they pick it up, as naturally promoting those brands. So we're a platform. We like to share everything we got. We want to see more minorities and more people from the game in the game. I think people really appreciate the backstory of Cookies, kind of like the underdog story. And people know I've been doing this for 20 years legally. I've always been the weed man. From 18 to now, I've always been the guy with some of the best herb. And I think that's what people might not know, is that like behind the scenes, I've been doing this for a very long time. I think that's what really keeps us as a standout brand. Our dedication to our menus, to our store experience, the customer journey, and just the actual reputation we have in the weed business as authentic players.
Born and raised in San Francisco's Sunset District, Burner attended Galileo Academy of Science and Technology before he eventually dropped out. But first, let's go over his family. So, his father is Mexican and his mother is Italian. His mother was an office worker and his father was a chef at a Mexican restaurant on Fillmore Street. Burner has said that his insane work ethic stems from seeing how hard both of his parents worked when he was younger. When Burner was 13, his mother and siblings moved to Arizona, where his father planned to meet them to open a restaurant. But his father actually ended up never coming to Arizona due to an affair he was apparently having with another woman. When Burner was 16, he told his mom that he needed to move back to the Bay Area to finish up high school so he could pursue his music career. In his self-produced documentary, 1111, Burner says that at a young age, he knew he wanted to do something big, be around forever, and ultimately leave a legacy. In his words, legacy and immortality could best be achieved through either movies or music. And while Burner has indeed already immortalized himself as a hip-hop legend with over 37 different projects released to date, he may only now be realizing the scale to which his legacy will impact the cannabis industry. After Burner dropped out of high school his senior year, he continued to work on music and started to become a frequent at some of the medical cannabis clubs, and eventually got a job at one of them, named Hemp Center. Soon, Burner was not just working at the cannabis club, but actually managing it too. For 5 years, Burner was immersed in the developing medical cannabis industry, all the while continuing to make music and battle rap. In 2006, Burner linked up with the Bay Area rap legend Equipto, where the veteran rapper showed Burner the ropes of quality music production. After forming his own label, Burn One Entertainment, in 2007, Burner released his debut album, Track Money and Pack Money, with Equipto. One thing that can be said about Burner's entrepreneurial instincts is that he realizes the power of networking, connectivism, and collaboration. After Track Money and Pack Money, he did joint albums with the legends like The Jacka and many others. He understood that collaborations meant access to another fan base, leveraging the relationship symbiotically. This strategy would eventually lead Burner that celebritism could be leveraged with cannabis and branding. Steeped in the entrepreneurial bravado of his family, Burner the MC and Burner the businessman were destined to synthesize into a titan of success.
Burner, what's up, my brother?
Guys, how you guys doing?
Good, man.
Blessed, man.
Living legend.
It feels good to be alive right now. I can't lie.
It's a good time.
Good time to be alive.
Yeah, for sure. First off, congratulations on the Forbes cover. That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, people ask you in life, could you ever have dreamt that?
Nah.
Who does, right?
I mean, one thing to dream being on the cover of Forbes, another thing to dream being on the cover of Forbes for selling weed. Two totally different things,
Yeah.
So I still can't believe it. It's a good look. It's a big statement in where the world's going right now. It's a big statement and a step for minorities as well, you know.
So we got a lot of questions about the business side of cannabis, marijuana, but let's bring it back to the beginning. I know you're from the Bay.
Yeah.
San Francisco to be exact, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you start in this game of legal marijuana, and what was the first steps that you took to build where you are now, which is an empire?
On the legal side, growing up in the city, you'd go by and you'd see these stores with the green crosses, and you'd smell it, and you'd see people coming out with bags, and eventually, you'd meet someone on the street that would say, "Hey, I can go in the cannabis club and get you a brownie and get you a plant to grow at your house, or get you some herb." And I was so obsessed with it because, at that time I was going back and forth to Arizona with my mother, and my father was staying in SF. We were supposed to move to Arizona, and it didn't quite work out that way. And so I would see the major difference, and when I go visit Arizona, it'd be completely looked at like it was heroin, and then you go back to the Bay and you see these stores and people are coming out so happy, and the smell and the vibe. I'm like, I got to figure out how to be involved in this. So the day I turned 18, that was my mission. I got my cannabis card, and I went to a cannabis club to actually try to film a documentary on it. I was so obsessed with it. And I would go there after my day job, and I would bring my camera, and I'd buy some weed, and you were allowed to sit there and smoke. And I would sit there and smoke and interview people. And one day the lady just said, "You want to work here, so let's get you hired. And take off that silly outfit." I was working at Tully's Coffee at the time, selling weed at Tully's Coffee, and I was doing some waiting and bar backing at a restaurant at the time. So she hired me, and from there I just climbed up the ladder and just followed my dreams. But what really intrigued me about the cannabis space was how happy people were coming out those buildings as a kid. I was like, man, look at this shit. This shit's amazing, Like, it's really just caught my eye. Every time I come to LA, it looks just like this. I don't ever change. Look at that shit. Hard, sticky, loud, just real OG Kush. Consistency. Consistency is key in growing. Some fools just become a booth batch. I'll ruin everything.
For sure. Dealing with a living plant, the only way to learn it is spending the time with it.
This is a crazy thing. We talked about this the other day. No matter what grow, you can go to 1,000 grow rooms back to back. Everyone's gonna be different. You know what the difference between this one is too? You're my brother.
I'm glad you got to make it down here, bro.
I'm proud of you. I never know, bro. I'm sorry, man. This shit is hard. I'm jealous. Oye, como va? How is your shit so big? Damn. Oh, you son of a bitch. Motherfucker. Look, this is the real Bay Area. Bred and created in San Francisco. Cherry pie right here. looking stupid.
How did it start for you? How much money was it? How did it take? Where did it begin at?
Begins with passion, bro. I was obsessed with weed and I was very passionate about it, and I still am, and that's why I'm still doing it, even with all the bullshit we deal with. So you got to be passionate about something for you even try to build something. You can't just say I want a strain because everyone has a strain and it's gonna work out. Why do you want one? Why do you want to build something? So it started with passion for me, and then like I hear a lot of people say, man, follow your dreams, you know, you could do whatever you want, anything's possible. Well, I started thinking about it on this trip. Manifest your memories, manifest your, you know, your miracles. I started manifesting this shit in my head. I was like, this is how I'm gonna do it, you know. And so when it started for me, I was really a fan of it, but I was going to the dispensary with a camera trying to shoot a. Right when I turned 18, I went and got my medical card. I started shooting a documentary at the dispensary, and within like a week of me going every day, because you can get high in there. I was getting high, filming my documentary, interviewing people. The lady was like, "You just need to come work here. It seems like you like this place." And right then, that was my shot. I just moved in hard.
Where was the store at?
It was in Frisco it was on Balboa, and then on 12th and Geary, the old hemp center.
So you started working there?
Yeah, I started out doing intake, right? So when people come in, they show me their card, I check their ID, call the doctor, make sure it's valid, buzz them in.
Now the NYPD busts a marijuana grow house.
Marijuana?
New pot policy here in New York City starting November 19th.
There is a burden of the past here. A lot of people were treated unfairly.
Currently in the state of New York, marijuana is legal and being sold without zero regulation. We saw people selling weed in the park, underground social clubs, storefronts with big bright lights, and even trucks on the street. As someone that's been in the game for a long time, I know as soon as regulations hit, these underground players keeping the city alive will probably be out of business. New York is probably one of the most interesting markets when it comes to weed, and I want to show you why.
We're in here, corner boys with the corner office.
Nigga, you know where we at, nigga. We in Cookies, nigga. 34th Street, you know where it's at, nigga.
Big Gumbo, Cookie Shop, New York City. We made it.
This came back from LA to get it, you feel me? Now we in New York for the opening. Let's get it, you feel me?
Cookies, NYC. Woo!
Got that donkey butter, lemon cherry gelato, we outside.
Coming from Kentucky, 12-hour drive, waited 20 hours.
I'm interested, like, because this,
you know, Cookies
it's
is my
unbelievable.
baby. It's my baby. I mean, at the end of the day, my partner Jai created Girl Scout Cookies back in the days. He brought it to me in my garage. You know, we named it, and I put it in important people's hands, and it started spreading through music and became something phenomenal. And a lot of growers, shout out to all the cultivators out there, they took it and they bred with it and they created a bunch of strains. And Cookies like almost has its own flavor profile. So you got the OG Kush, you have like the haze, you'll have like the, you know, like the lemon profile, then you have like a cookie profile. So it became a strain that was so popular that so many people built menus with, that it's a staple thing now. And so I'm hella attached to it, and you know, it's not just a strain now. There's so many different crosses with it and things that lay under that brand. And you know, it turned up. It was just something I just stayed persistent with.
When Migos say fat cookie blunt in the ashtray,
you know, we had a deal with Cookies.
Right.
So when I was hearing about the deal with Cookies, I was never at the meetings. They was just handing them the deal on their own and would just tell me about the deal, you know. But when you in business with 3 people, it's majority rules, you know. So I was always getting outvoted, and they was just running the play, and I'm like, fuck it, I trust y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then we was in a deal with Cookies for 3 years, and fucking the shit didn't go how we presented it and wanted to go. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
So yeah, and when that shit started going, like, I felt like that we weren't getting the publicity or the support that we was needed. I was like, man, they got me fucked up.
And to all the young cats, man, like, look, I get it. get that cash, do your thing, buy that jewelry, but remember the IRS is a motherfucker. That's one gang you don't want to fuck with.
Yeah.
They will come back and bite your motherfucking ass so hard. Like, man, I be worrying about my youth. I be seeing them with these stacks of bread and shit. I'm like, you know, I come up from an industry where I'm not showing shit because motherfuckers come duct tape your ass and throw you in the truck and kill you for that shit. But more importantly, I worry if are these cats paying their taxes, bro? Because that shit will come back, bro.
A San Francisco rapper who is known to fans as
Birdie birthday,
Maywood. Happy C-Day to my brother Burner. But music is only part of his story.
Anything major. I'm sorry, this year I'm fresh out of favor. It's been all about the paper, all about the paper. Said the coach lasts longer than the player. How we underground, but everything major. I'm sorry, this year I'm fresh out of favor. It's been all about the paper, all about the paper.